Hello, welcome to the Expat Pod. My name is James, your host, and today I'm joined by Francesco, who is an Italian man who's lived in several amazing places, and we actually met via Facebook because I put a post out on Facebook to interview some amazing people who have lived and worked abroad, and you happened to reply to me, and we're now having this amazing conversation together. So first of all, thank you for reaching out, and secondly, if you'd like to give a short introduction of kind of where you've lived.
Yes, thank you for inviting me, first of all. Yes, I've been living in a few countries, like 15 now, 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, whatever. In Canada, then in the last 10 years, I've been living in Ireland, Dublin specifically, and now I'm in the UK, in Chester, to be precise, and I'm enjoying the partying life. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, that's great. That's a perfect introduction. Thank you. So hello and welcome to section 1 of the podcast, all about getting there. So Francesco, this is, basically where I ask my guests all about the kind of journey you had to go on before you actually went somewhere. So all the kind of groundwork or work you had to do before moving. So obviously you've lived, let's go chronologically. So you lived in Canada first, is that correct?
Yep, Canada, Ireland, and UK now.
So when you moved from Italy, how did you find opportunity to live in Canada?
Okay, Canada was a bit was short term. Essentially, I lived there for 6 months because I had a working holiday visa. I have some relatives there, so I decided to go to the big city, Toronto, and I needed to look after myself. So I been looking for a job there once I landed to Toronto, and I found a job like in 3 days. I wasn't sure about that. Say, okay, I can't believe I found a job so quickly. So I procrastinated to answer it like a couple of days and say, okay, yes, I don't accept. It was a part-time job because I wanted to enjoy the life of being in a different country on my own and everything. But yes, I searched for, on the was Craigslist, if I'm not wrong. At the time was Craigslist, and that was working quite well. Then I moved when I came back to Italy for several years, and then for Ireland I was a bit different because I wasn't in a very good space. I was working as a freelance with a couple of clients that never paid me, and it was not great. So I've been looking for a job for a few months. And then I found this e-commerce company in Dublin that hired me. I've been interviewed for 2-3 times, I remember, online. Then I moved to Dublin. Just my first time in Ireland, my first time in Dublin. I didn't know anything about. I had a couple, 2, 3, 4 friends that were living in Dublin. I've been living in Dublin for few years. One of those was the one that hosted me for first week. Then I had to look for accommodation. Then the moving to Dublin, to the UK. Essentially, I was in a very different space because my wife was pregnant. So it was a bit change of life, completely change of life. We moved from Dublin to here with a ferry, which was a different experience, strange experience. My bike was a headache because moving with a bike is a bit strange. And then my wife's parents are here, so we moved to them for a few weeks. And then we were looking for new accommodation there, and I didn't need a job because I was working with an agency from Ireland, and on my own work as well as a freelance. So I joined this co-working space, and this is how everything started. And again, the life as a single, not childless person, and as a parent is a pretty different. So the life in Dublin and the life in the UK were pretty different.
It's a lot in 3 minutes. It's amazing what you've achieved so far. Then, did you meet your wife when you were in Dublin? Out of curiosity.
Yes, we met there. We met in Dublin. We were different lives, but life is a strange place. And then we, after three years, we got married. We have a child, and then now, we moved. We decided to move because the kind of life and the kind of environment we had in Dublin were not possible for us to go on with the newborn. So it was kind of an interesting life. But we still don't know if we'll be staying here for a long time. But we moved.
Amazing. On life or on moving before and after a child, what was it like what was your headspace like when you were moving and you were single then, in terms of what was it you were looking for from the place you were staying in Dublin, for instance? Was it easy to reach out to friends and say, hey, I'm moving here? Or how did you find that whole situation?
As a single person, I was, I had few conversations with a few friends in Dublin that they already had their own lives, so we were friends, but we didn't see each other that much. But I was in a very different place. As I said, my work life was not great at the time, so I was looking for a space somewhere else. Dublin is quite interesting at the time. It was a quite interesting city because was full of expats like me. I was sharing. Was probably the most interesting part. I was sharing a lot of common elements with the other people from Italy, France, Spain, North America, South America, Europe, everywhere. We had a similar life with similar challenges because there were, of course, there are Irish people as well. But most of the people that I was in touch with were expats, essentially, like me. So this was a quite interesting part. While when I moved to Chester, was completely different because I wasn't looking for a job, which was a big part of the life, my life. I knew more or less. I was here once or twice before the moving, and we needed to settle down. We had a child, but my wife was 7 months pregnant, so was my child was going to come soon. So we were looking for a space where to live and to start our family.
Wow, so both stressful for different reasons, and
very, very, very different lives. As a single, not expecting to living day by day, and now I need to live for my children.
On the preparations for moving, I guess because you moved EU to EU, and then you moved to the UK before Brexit was official, and obviously your wife is English, so was that easy to work around?
To Dublin, essentially just the PPS number, which is the insurance number, the national insurance number. Would not need to do anything apart from a queue at the public office. In UK, I came here just a few months before Brexit, so I'm settled. I'm pre-settled status at the moment. A few months I'll be settled completely. So, but I never had any issue at all. I just went to the office, explained the situation, and I got my national insurance number pretty easily. No paperwork at all, which was good.
That was all once you arrived?
After a month or so, a few weeks later, I needed that. When I went to Canada, I had a working holiday visa, so I could stay there for about 180 days max.
How was that process? Getting the working holiday visa, was that quite seamless as well?
It was incredible because I remember I was following this blog. We're talking about 2008, a few years ago. I was following this blog. I was fascinated by Canada because I have some family members living there. Then this blog, they're saying, oh yeah, there's this application that you can do, and then you can go to Canada to work and stay for a few months. I tried. I still remember 4 weeks later, I did the application. I received this letter, and was like, yeah, this is your visa. I'm like, okay, so quick. I didn't expect. Was expecting months, maybe. It was like, okay, now I have to book a flight, a real flight, just a long-term flight. And then there I found the accommodation is essentially in a shoebox. It was very, very small. Yeah, I was Toronto before the crisis, so it was very busy and everything. But then I moved in a frat house. I lived 3 months in this shoebox, and then the frat house. We were renting out this room, and it was a interesting life. They looks like they had some secret plans, because on Tuesday evening I had to leave because they had this meeting, and it was kind of a weird part, because they were just kids talking about I don't know, frat house stuff. I don't know what word, but it was that period of my life was pretty funny. I did everything I wanted. I was in a different space, younger, more shy, probably. But I've been working in this environmental organization in front of a computer, so I wasn't working as a waiter with the shifts and everything. It was pretty first world life.
I don't think I have much more to ask in terms of how you got to these places. You've gone into great detail. Do you have anything more you want to kind of touch upon before we go on to the next section?
Yes, I always thought that Canada would be my future. Then I procrastinated because I could try to stay there for a while. I never did it. My inner person said, okay, you have to go back to Italy to do something, which was not very important, to be honest with you. And then I waited several years, and I moved to Dublin in 2013. So it was like, okay, I had to pretend to have something important to do, and then the reality is I wanted to leave and to live somewhere else.
Amazing. Well done you for achieving that.
Thank you.
Great. So we'll get into section 2, all about being there. So hello and welcome to section 2 of the podcast, all about being there. So Francesco, thank you so much for sharing all about how you kind of arrived in these amazing places, and you kind of touched upon life in Canada with a frat house, which is quite interesting as well. I just wanted to ask you, I guess, your first impressions of each location. So what was your first impression of Canada like? You said you've always wanted to live there, or you thought you did when you were younger. So did it live up to the expectation you had in your head?
Okay, I have some other family members there in Canada that live in a smaller village, so that life was quite different there. So I decided to go to Toronto, and was the biggest city I ever lived for a long time period. And everything was new. Just I had to discover everything, life, how things were. And I ended up with meeting random people. I ended up in Alanis Morissette bus for doing after a concert. She wasn't there with the drummer, and because a friend left me her ticket for the concert. She couldn't make it. But the impression there was that everything was new. It was my first experience living abroad. So was essentially it. Every single step was discovery. I didn't have to do paperwork. So it was a big point. And then I was looking for a job. I was looking for moving into an apartment to see what was going, how life was there. I attended some couch surfing meetups. I traveled a bit with couch surfing, which is essentially was the free version of Airbnb, and more or less at the time was working. Essentially meeting new people. I ended up in Montreal, Quebec City, with people eating pasta in a very wrong way. But now was every single day was a different day, was a different discovery. For Canada was very different. Then Ireland was very different from that, because a couple of days after I landed to Dublin, my first job of work was there. So also there was an Italian company, so it was helpful from some point of view, less helpful from others, but was a way to get in touch with the other people that knew the city, knew the challenges that I would face too. So some support from that point of view was very useful. The first approach was that every time you were walking to a road, you could hear different 10, 15, 20 different languages. Well, not 20, but 5, 6 languages, different languages. Was exciting. Was very something that this is one of the things that I really loved in Dublin. The different languages, different kind of people with different backgrounds, and we were all similar to each other because we had the same challenges, the same opportunities there. While when I moved to the UK, it was pretty straightforward because my wife is from here. The only paper I did was the national insurance number, and I didn't have to look for a job. I knew more or less where to go to work. The city is pretty small. It's and it's a nice city. It's nice, very nice city. It was very different from Dublin, because Dublin was it's big city, but not that big. But with many other people. Here is more people who settle down, while Dublin is probably a path to the life of people.
Yeah, is he a younger person in the city, I suppose, Dublin, than Chester? Does Chester feel more like Italy because it's a Roman city?
No, it's just
apart from the food.
No, I mean my social life in Chester is not amazing with the kids, and essentially work and go back home to see the kids or the nursery. So I don't enjoy the social life in Dublin. Social life was much different because I was attending a lot of meetups, which was one of the biggest elements of the city, and there was also dancing, more or less. Not great dancer, but the meetups were a big part of life at the time in Dublin. So mostly around the work, but also about people that wanted to meet other people. This was and then I had a few. I enjoyed the dating apps world for a while, where by the way, I met one of my best friends there. So we matched in a different way, and I met a few people through other people it's essentially Dublin was I created from scratch my life completely. So my social life. It's a city essentially around work. Yes, or work, starting work or improving your work life, your career. But yes, this is the approach was very different in the two cities.
Amazing. And I assume you travelled back and forth to the UK before, because you said your wife is from where you're living now. So I assume you knew the area well before you arrived for living.
Yes, we got married in here, so we came here once or twice, I remember now, before moving completely. But yes, was more. She was more aware of how things were working and so on. While in Dublin, I was on my own, and I didn't know most of things that you need. You need essentially when you move that way, you need to know to face with the challenges, and the challenges are a way to know yourself much better than you know in a place where you've been living for your whole life.
And that's an amazing point. Yeah, definitely a lot of challenges when you move somewhere, especially when you're young and you don't know many people, if any, I suppose. But you said you had a few friends who you stayed with to begin with, but yeah, you're uprooting everything and starting again.
Yeah, I mean,
and pursuing a career, which is obviously a lot of stress in itself as well. But on the topic of kind of social lives, then what was your, other than using meetups, what was the other way you kind of socialize with people? How did you find that? What was the situations like for you to hang out? Did you get a shared apartment? Did you live by yourself?
I shared an apartment because the Dublin rental market was and is very hard, very expensive. So I shared with a few people, Italians, Croatians, and from other countries. I moved a few times. Lived for 5 years in the same place, and then moved in a specific year 3 times. Was a kind of a not great, but yes, shared apartment in city center, which allowed me to easily go out with friends, with meeting new people, and so on. I was actually with in front of a Guinness. Guinness was my thing. I was at the beginning. I still remember at the beginning of my the first year, the Guinness was almost a dinner because it was quite heavy. Then I got used to that. I needed something else. But I'm not a big drinker. Just my drinking for me was max 2 pints, 2-3 pints. While other people around me were like 6, 8. I was like, okay, that's a bit too much for me.
And did you also try some of the whiskey that's in Dublin as well?
Yes, I don't remember the name. I've been working for a year next to a whiskey factory. I don't remember the name now. Sorry.
There's Teeling, there's Jameson.
Teeling. Sorry.
Yeah, Teeling's great.
Yeah.
Right. I've been to the distillery tour.
Yeah. It was just 50 meters from where I was working in a startup. Yeah, and yes, and with my first job, we were in a Guinness owned place, so I had a free pass to the Guinness Star House. I went like 10 times there, and they had a very, very good food at the top.
The rooftop bar is amazing with the view, especially if it's a nice day.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was a nice experience because it's a relatively big city for Ireland. It's not the biggest city of Ireland, but it's also it's very easy to find connections because it's small enough to know everyone. There's probably 1-2 levels of connection for every person there. If you get in touch with someone that could know someone and then know the actual target, and person that you want to meet. So it was a big village more than a city.
Wow, that's incredible. Because when I went, it was obviously tourism was quite popular, so that probably what makes it feel bigger than it might be, because you've got a lot of tourists, especially in the centre and around the Guinness factory and things. Where as a tourist, when I went, you usually tend to hang out with those. So I guess for yourself as a resident at the time, you probably knew where people were not going to be that weren't tourists, so you could actually hang out with people and not pay extortionate amounts of money for a Guinness.
Yes, I mean most of the pubs were just similar for locals and tourists. The only place where people tended to not hang out was Temple Bar, which is the most popular area because the beer was not great. The area and it's expensive. Just until you can cross the river and find the hidden place where you had to knock the door. The guy was checking who you are, and then deciding if they can allow you to enter, pay cash. And then if you want to leave, you had to tell him, "Oh yeah, I want to leave," and then he come to open the door, and then you can leave. There was this place was amazing. Was very very cool, but it's not on the guides. Hacienda.
Good to know. If anyone visits Dublin, they can go check it out.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's in front of Temple Bar. It's 5 minutes walking from Temple Bar, so it's very very reasonable to go there.
How did you find the accent in Ireland, in terms of, obviously you must have been fluent or very capable in English, because you lived in Toronto, and obviously further east you go in Canada, they speak more French, but obviously you must have been able to get a job in English when you first moved. So how did you find it in Ireland?
Yes, the accent was a bit strong. At the beginning was a bit strong because yes, I lived for a few months in Canada, but was just a few months. I could survive with anything. I was by the way, in Canada, I also volunteered for the Toronto International Film Festival, but I made like a life goal to understand my level of English, which failed, by the way, that time. Yes, because of my other volunteers were asking me something like, sorry, I don't understand, which was pretty funny. But in Ireland, the beginning was a bit challenging because the accent was a bit strong everywhere for me, coming from Italy. After years, everything was a bit strong. After a while, I was normal, and when I moved to England, that I realized that the Irish accent is very clear. Because my English in my mind was the Irish English at the moment for several years. So it was like, now I understand. Okay, this person is Irish because I can recognize that. But when I was there as not native speaker, it was like, okay, this is the English. We'll stop.
And kind of going on from that, what was your favorite kind of thing you were living in Dublin?
The fact that most of walking on the road, you can hear multiple accents, multiple languages. This was something I really loved it. The fact that most foreigners have the same challenges, so you are on the same level as everyone else, and they understand your challenges, you understand your life, was something that I really loved, because it was not loved, but I really appreciated, because it was something that you can share after you shared many things with your friends home. You find a place where everyone is different, but the fact that you share something with most of the people that you meet every day was something that I really appreciated. That this was the biggest point. And then
the common struggle.
and the common story that also brought to how you meet people with meetups, people randomly going on meetups to meet other people for I don't know, hobbies or walking or I don't know, work related elements. The fact that they essentially don't care about your accent, where locals or foreigners, they just don't care. They care about what you have to say, or what your story and so on, which was quite interesting in terms of approach, because in Italy I've been living in my hometown for most of my life. You tend to hang out with people that you met in your childhood and so on. So it was we were sharing something, but we were sharing something for 10, 15, 20 years. Well, there you shared something for 5 minutes, and you can really create a connection with another person.
On that same kind of topic, then, with regards to being from home, did you ever experience much homesickness?
More than homesickness, loneliness. Yes, I've been. I felt mostly in Ireland, because here in England I don't have time to think about that with the kids. But in Ireland, yes. And the solution that I found, more or less, is okay. There's a non-solution which staying on your own helps to understand who you are much better than spending time and talking to people all the time, which I appreciated much after once I left Ireland, essentially, because now I don't have much time to for myself, and the time I had too much time, but I could think, or just my mind was thinking or talking to me and everything. This was of the biggest things. And then, sorry, what was the question I got? And the other part is meeting, getting your circle of friends. I had a small circle of friends that I was hanging out with the same challenges, sometimes very, very similar challenges. Most of them were Italians, not all of them. But yes, essentially understanding who you are on your own, and get some friends and people with your same background, same challenges, same situation of you, is probably the most helpful thing I did at the time.
And did you have much kind of conversations back home? Did you call very regularly with your family back in Ireland, or?
Well, phone calls with some apps. Yes, it didn't come back as often as I thought, because work and I want to enjoy a bit of life on my own there. But yes, with my family, essentially my family and a few friends there. What I realized, and this was a big, something I realized a little bit late, is that your friends back home, they are different. You are different. You change when you live abroad. You change a lot. You change. Your challenges are very different, and most of your friends will not understand your life. You don't understand the person that you are after a while that you live abroad, that you became. It's different. It's something that I lost touch with a few of my friends that were very close. We were meeting up almost not every day, but kind of back in Italy. And now I barely can get a message from them, because your life and their life is completely different. And I have this feeling, that just not more than a feeling, that they don't understand your new life, how your new lifestyle.
The trajectories were just different. I guess there's a point where you kind of separated, and you obviously went on your journey, and they all stayed on their journey, and that's what life is, really. You all leave school and explore the world in your own way.
Yeah, and after all, you are the one that left. So is that. So is it just it's you that changes not down.
On England, then obviously you mentioned early on in the podcast that you were struggling with social life because you've got very young children and everything else. Have you found any ways of doing that? Obviously, your work is a co-working space, right? But you obviously work with them.
I started to work a bit home, a bit co-working space, but the co-working space is the best solution because you meet other human beings. This is one of the main points. Working from home, and I can work anywhere, but working from home is the same space for everything, and your same people, my wife, my kids, which is good. But meeting other people is important. It's important. It's just important that this is and the co-working space where I am is it's quite good at organizing events. Before COVID, there were once every couple of months where I sort of party or a night out or something like that. Now it's a bit different, but yes, essentially dealing with this work-wise from this point of view. Then we met a group of Italian parents so my children can learn Italian also from other people. So this is more or less my life, and we travel a bit, but essentially with the time is limited.
Great. And staying on the UK, what's been your favorite part of living in Chester?
Favorite part is it's a very child friendly place. Back to Italy, and where the places where I lived for most of my life, I don't think I would be so pleased to go around with my kids, which is a very good. Can be a very big challenge if you have, especially with two kids and so on. So this is one of the parts, and then from Chester, it's close to many different parks or national trust and other areas where you can go in the nature. And Chester, I live very, very close to a park, just out front the road. So it's quite interesting. It's green. It's greener than they expected.
Yeah, my Spanish friend once told me he'd never live in a country that's green because it means it rains a lot.
Oh yes, that's absolutely true. I mean the rain, apart from the last few days, most of the time it's raining, but you can go out without an umbrella. I don't like umbrellas. I don't tend not. Apart from the last couple of days, which is very different. It was raining quite a lot, but yes, rain is also in Ireland. Apart from very few days in the year, when rains doesn't stop people to go on with their own activities. Well, in Italy, most of the time rain was proper rain, just like raining proper, and you couldn't do much out. But yes, the green part is quite interesting here. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's a country which a lot of great countryside, a lot of great national parks, as you said, and national trust, which is one of the best things I think we have in the UK in terms of being able to see so many amazing places for not a lot of money, really. When you think, especially with membership, it's quite reasonable. But yeah, no, that's great.
Yes, the only funny part is when my wife tells me, "Okay, let's go to the beach." My approach to a beach is different from here a beach. You see the beach, you see the sand and everything, but well, going into the water is a bit more cold. Let's say that. Well, back in Italy when you see the beach, you go to the beach to go into the water. So this was like, okay, yes, the beach, but let's go to the park.
Well, which beach do you go to? Is it West Kirby?
Yes, but it was Kirby, and that area was Kirby, Parkgate, those areas. But also,
you should go to Formby Beach because it's the best one in the country. Just saying.
we went also in the south in May, and it was quite nice. Not bath again, but yes, was it's yes, the different fruits. The weather is quite different, let's say, and the water as well.
But and how are you handling the food?
Food, okay. In Chester, there's the best pizza place in England, in the UK. This pizza place is one of the most popular. It's in the ranking is the best or something, which is good. We cook a lot home, so it's not a big deal. But yes, the food part is we have to cook home.
I mean, I don't think British food's that bad, but if you're used to,
I mean, I really enjoy a good hamburger with meat. My wife is a vegetarian, so there's not much meat at home. Otherwise, different food and everything. So I really enjoy a good steak or a good meat. But we don't go out often because again, the kids are young, so it's difficult to go there. And they're very good when we go out, but enjoying spending some relaxed time in front of some food is difficult.
Yeah, because it's obviously quite a popular thing in Italy. Part of the culture is all around the meal as an entertainment in itself, as opposed to in the UK, it's seen as the meal is the kind of prerequisite to entertainment. You can have a meal and then go and do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I like, and again, I like a good hamburger or good steak, but again, my food preference are still Italian.
The Mediterranean diet is calling you. Is there anything else you really want to discuss about being in the countries you've lived in before we go to the next section?
Yes, I mean, the good part is living, again, the good part to live abroad is that you discover a big part of yourself that you don't expect, and you meet also with people that are similar to you for many reasons, because they have the same experience, that you share a big experience, that are the same people that in Italy, in your home country, you would not expect to see or to get in touch at all. So this is one of the part that appreciate the most from living abroad.
What a great way to end section 2, and we'll come back to section 3. So hello and welcome to section 3 of the podcast, all about your recap, I guess. I still haven't named it, but it's basically the review of your time so far. The first question I always seem to ask my guests is, if you could go back to the start of your journey of living abroad and tell yourself something, give yourself some advice, what would that be?
Two main things. One, Francesco, get out of your comfort zone as soon as possible, because being in comfort zone is comforting, but it's not the right thing to do, because it affects how you will live in the future. And then most of the people don't care about your accent, your how you deal with your language, your English, or whatever other language you speak. These are the two big things that made me stop to do many activities in the past. Now I'm more confident about everything. I'm more out of comfort zone because I had to overtake many challenges. But yes, it's a way also to socialize more, to meet new people, people that are that you are more interesting to other people than you think. This is one of the big point. I was talking about this friend a few hours ago, and this is you're the person that is more interesting than usual, than you ever think. But yes, off comfort zone, just get rid of it and speak to strangers, because people are interested in what you have to say, not how you say that.
Completely, and I guess that's why you're here talking to me, because I'm interested in what you have to say in your journey. So definitely, please do keep being outside of your comfort zone and growing, and well done for acknowledging that. It's quite a difficult thing to do, is to say that you need to do that. I know everyone struggles with it in terms of, especially when you're stressed and you're working, and it's just another thing you have to do. It just takes time, which is, everyone has their own coping mechanisms. Just, hopefully we can all push ourselves a bit further every day.
Yes, and on top of that, my advice is understand that your friends from 20 years ago or from the last 10 years, they will not understand everything you do, because you are then the one that left, and they keep going with their life, and you face with a different aspect of your life, or your new life. So it's they don't be to stay in touch with them, but don't expect them to understand you. This is a big point that I understood.
And also on that, family as well, like parents that also know or have the same experience you have, and therefore will offer advice, but maybe it's not the best advice for you to take.
Your family members are similar to your friends sometimes, because they can't understand you, your journey. When I told my family that I would leave, my brother was he expected that, probably. My mom was like, okay, what's happening now? But yes, people that anyone that stays home is going to be different from you, because you are the one that changed.
Is there anything else you'd want to share with everyone in terms of living abroad, or do you think we've kind of touched everything you wanted to say?
Yes, probably that living you made, when you move somewhere else, you do a bigger step than you expect, and people respect that. People respect that you live your everyday life. You work most likely in a language that is not yours, and expect also to your brain to be more tired than your neighbors that from your local, from the city council that have been living for the same place for their own life, because it's how it works. After a while, for example, for a while I had to translate what I was saying, what I was wanted to say, or what I wanted to hear, and now I'm very, very likely to be starting to talk without thinking in Italian or translating or anything else. But yes, this is the biggest point.
That's great. That's a very good point. I think you've kind of covered it for section 3. Great. So Francesco, really, really appreciate you spending your evening talking to me when you've got 2 very young children and you could probably really do with a rest. So thank you for agreeing to have this conversation with me and sharing so much about your life and your journey so far. I've really kind of enjoyed this conversation and finding a bit more about you, especially your points regarding, our friends and family back home, or all over the world. We all have different lived experiences. We've all got different kind of trajectories, paradigms, perspectives on so many different parts of our lives. And it's okay to disagree with people. And it's okay to have different viewpoints and really just be honest and open. And a lot of our good friends and our best friends will appreciate that. And still, we may have differences, but we'll still enjoy their company. So it's, really appreciate you sharing that point. And and your time. I don't know if you want to talk about where people can find you and some work you've done.
Oh, yes. Okay. If people want to find me, I'm more active social media-wise. I'm not very social on social media. Social media-wise, I'm more active on LinkedIn with my name, Francesco Baldini. Then I have a bit of LinkedIn, in X, Twitter, and not much. I actually started a couple of years ago podcast myself as well with 2 big episodes. But I'm planning to restart the next few weeks, months. Yes, this is how you can find me.
And I'll put a link to your podcast in the show notes so everyone can find it and listen to the amazing work you've done.
And thank you for inviting me to the podcast. As I never talked enough about my experience abroad. It's interesting always to have these conversations.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here and sharing. And as always, if you have found anything interesting listening to this podcast, please let us know in the comments. Please do engage social media and please follow for more amazing stories in the future. Thank you.